It was really fun. We met a bunch of fans and talked to some people. We met some people from Grand Prairie. That was cool. And I met a bunch of people that were on them, too. And everybody was cool. That's the thing. Everybody was like, "Hey, you want some?" And I was like, "Yeah, are you?" And they're like, "Yeah." It was just great. People were enjoying the fuck out of it. Duncan said this, too. He was like, "You wouldn't think it'd be good, but it was great. It was just so much more fun. It makes it an adventure." Anyway, so I hope you guys are enjoying the Shroomfest. I did it there in Calgary, and then I'm away to Montreal, where I'm going to do my storyteller shows for 6 nights. And the first night, Monday night, it's all at midnight, by the way, at this Chinese strip club called Cleopatra. And the first night is an all Shroomfest edition, because it's as Shroomfest ends. So it's me, Brendan Walsh, Sean Patton. I'm hoping to get John Doerr. He said he has to look at his schedule, and maybe one more person. Probably one more person. We have to find people when I get there. But every night at midnight, it's stories of booze and drugs. So be there, Cleopatra. And I am going to be on mushrooms for the show. We'll see. I don't know. I've done stand-up once before on mushrooms, but it was at the Comedy Store where I'm super comfortable. And it wasn't that bad. I was coming down. We'll see what it's like. We'll see what it's like in Montreal. It might be a disaster. I don't know. Who cares if it is? I might not be able to go on. Sean Patton's going to be sober. He'll lead the way if I get too bonkers. And I expect a bunch of you guys to be on mushrooms too when you come to that show. So pop them an hour before and sort of hang out. And if you get too worked up, just step outside for a minute, get some fresh air. Come on back. Nobody's going to bother you. By the way, everybody at the UFC who knew I was on Boomers, they were all really cool about it. Nobody was trying to get to me. They're trying to be polite and short if they had to. If they're like, "Oh, you're all right?" I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "All right, well, I'll see you later." That's how you're supposed to be around people on mushrooms. You're not supposed to freak them out. You're not supposed to fuck with them. Just high, all pleasant thoughts. Anyway, the shows in Calgary, by the way, were sick. Me, Joe Rogan, and Duncan, 2 sold out, 1,700 seat rooms. It was just fucking great. It was fucking awesome. What a positive, amazing crowd they are. Anyway, I hope you guys are all having a good Shroomfest. It's catching on. I really like it. I haven't met anybody this year that doesn't believe me that I helped start it, but I'm sure I will. Shroomfest isn't over. It's only been a day and a half. Oh, and I took some on Friday night too, because I was there at the theater, and Rogan was on, and it struck midnight, and I was like, "Fuck it, let me pop a cap and a stem." I made that night better too. You can just do a little bit, by the way. You can just do a little. It's like having a shot of tequila. You don't have to get bombed off it sometimes. Sometimes you just have a nice little cap or something, catch a buzz for the whole evening. They last, 3-4 hours. You can drink with it. You can do whatever you want with it. Anyway, you've heard me extol the virtues of mushrooms before. But the heavy trips are the ones that'll make you rethink your idea of reality and existence. So what do I have to say? Let me give it up for my sponsors, Amazon.com or Amazon.ca. If you go to my website, and there's a link on the right, an Amazon link for different ones, one for Canada, one for America, Canadian one second. If you go through there to shop on Amazon, only when you're shopping already, don't buy anything special for me. But when you're there already, you should go through my website, arithegreat.com, and click on that banner, and that takes you to Amazon, and then you just shop as normal. You pay the same amount you would, but then Amazon gives me cash back. And I heard it's 6%. That's what I think it is. So if you spend $100 on something, I get $6. You don't have to do anything extra except click once, and that'll help me continue the show. I lost a fucking podcast. I did a podcast with Mac Danzig, with this UFC fighter who's a vegan. And we had such a good, it was 2 hours and 12 minutes. It was so fucking good. He's such an honest dude. And then I fucking deleted it. I was so mad at myself. I thought it was it was an intro for another one of these podcasts. So I all the ones I hadn't named, I fucking threw out in the garbage in my trash can on my computer, and then emptied the trash can. I was so disappointed. I was mourning for a day and a half. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm sad again. He'll do it again. He'll come back. I told him I'll just wait 3 months until my pot-riddled brain has forgotten everything we talked about, so I can act like it's fresh again. Oh man, I'm so disorganized. It was the first time I did it. I almost did it once with Christina Pazitsky, but luckily I mislabeled it and put it in a different part of my files, and so then I found it. But this one, I downloaded 2 fucking recovery programs for $100 a piece to try to recover this information from my trash can, and I couldn't do it. So anyway, if you shop at Amazon.com through my website, that'll go to help support my fuck-ups and my purchases for programs to recover fucking lost files. Ugh, I'm such a moron. I'm such a fucking moron. How do you forget that? How do you lose? And then Tony Hinchcliffe said this. He goes, he brought me up on stage at the Ice House Chronicles on Wednesday, and shut up. And he goes, Ari put this podcast in his trash and then emptied his trash. I'm talking about the trash on his computer because the trash at his home is still full of trash because he's a hoarder. Anyway, so that's one sponsor. And my other sponsor is GameFly. If you shop for video games, if you like video games, you should do them through GameFly.com. One, you can just rent them, unless you want to buy them or something. But buying video games is stupid because once you're done with them, you're done with them. So go to GameFly, and if you want to try it, 15-day free trial. If you go to GameFly.com/Ari, and there's a banner on my website too for that too, if you want to go through that. But if you remember, GameFly.com/Ari, and they're actually they're the sponsor that gives me the most cash. They give me about enough for half an eighth of mushrooms, about a gram and 3/4 of mushrooms. So if you go there, you are helping me sponsor my Shroomfest experience. So please do that. Gamefly.com/Ari, free 15-day trial, and then keep it trial afterwards, or don't. If you don't like it, fucking cancel it by all means. Cancel it a day later. I don't care, but you should use the service. It's good. So you don't fucking buy some shitty game. But anyway, go through that, and they'll help me buy drugs. I think that's it. I'm after Montreal. I'm there Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night. We got every night is a different story, but it's all stories of drugs and booze. And Hannibal Buress is doing one night. Rory Scoville. There's a bunch of people I have to ask later. I asked Marin, but he can't do it. He's always busy in Montreal. But yeah, I'll get the bigger people later. I feel embarrassed to ask the bigger people, so I have to ask them in person. I feel weird when I ask them online or on text, even though some of them are always like Bill Burr I ask, he's always like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Or, no, I'm not free that day. And he's always pretty cool and always writes me back, but I still get fucking nervous every time I write one of the bigger guys, like I'm imposing on them. But the shows are super fun. They're super fun for comics and for audience. And every night's different. It's all different comics. Sean Patton might do 2 nights, but he'll be doing different stories. All those Chicago guys, by the way, are humongous boozers. Like, humongous boozers. So, like Hannibal, they all have Pete Holmes. He'll do it, too. They all have stories about fucking alcohol. I don't have that many stories about alcohol. 1 or 2. I almost barfed in a girl's mouth. I shouldn't have ruined it, but that's what happens. I almost barfed in a girl's mouth. I'll tell that story one night. I don't know, but not Monday night. Monday night's a Shroomfest show. Who knows? I might tell it if I get sidetracked. God, mushrooms are fun. They're so fucking good. You guys should do them. If this comes out today at midnight, you have Monday, all day Monday, to find some mushrooms and pop them. Yeah, just do it. And if you can't get it done by the time Shroomfest is over, that shouldn't stop you. Find some mushrooms later. Do them then. Just any time. And then once you get, if you haven't done them before, once you get ameliorated with the feelings, that means used to the feelings, then you can do them next Shroomfest if you want. You can look in advance and find out where to get them and participate. Man, it's so much fun. I like how people are doing them too. Anyway, once you've done them, you'll know the benefits. That's it, everybody. Thank you very much for tuning into these. I didn't say what this podcast was. I wonder which one I should put up there. I guess Nick Thune. Man, I wanted to have that Mac Danzig one this week or next week, but I didn't. So Nick Thune is my guest. You should follow him on Twitter because he's actually really funny. He puts out a bunch of funny tweets all the time. His name on Twitter is Nick Thune. If you're on there, if you're not on Twitter, it's time you should get on there. It's time you should try it. It's a social media sort of thing for our generation. And our generation now, in this day and age, means 3 to 5 years. That's it. But everybody's on them. Here's how you start if you don't know what the deal is. Follow a few people that are funny. You probably want to follow Angry Batman. He was a good one. Just a fake Batman who's just mad, but he lives like today. And then you'll find out who else. But follow some celebrities. They usually post out good tweets. I know Chris Hardwick puts out like good computer information. Joe Rogan is always putting out. Oh, Hardwick is Nerdist. Joe Rogan is always putting out tweets about fucking conspiracy theories and animals that kill people, and the collapse of our economic society, and funny tweets too. Jim Norton always puts out funny tweets. Anyway, yeah, follow some people, and then I put like half like show updates and half funny stuff. Oh, and I should say this. I'll announce it right now. My album is coming out. Ari Shaffir's first album. It's not available for iTunes yet. I'm finishing editing it, and it won't be available. It won't be edited for like a week and a half. So hopefully I'll have it up for pre-sales on August, like by August 1st, maybe by the 1st. Hopefully I can get it done by then, the 31st of July. But it's called Revenge for the Holocaust. And it's my first comedy album, and I'm really excited about it. I've listened to it, and it's good, man. I thought I didn't listen to it for like 3 months because I was so nervous it would be bad. But it's good. It really is. I like it. I'm happy with it. And when I'm editing it, I'm like, oh, I got 2 different versions of this, like really good. There's one bit I couldn't get down. There's one fucking bit. I didn't do it in the one good show because I got time sensitive. Like I was like, oh, the light's on. I should get off. I should have just told them, hey guys, I'm sorry. I got to go about 15 minutes over tonight because I got to get this down. So this whole great bit about anal sex that I can't get in there. I might have to record. I save it for my next album a year later. Maybe I can have a good filthy bit because my next year is not as filthy as the last year. So anyway, so look on iTunes. It'll be available on iTunes. And I think I'm going to do this thing where I just give away two tracks. Because I know I have a lot of poor listeners. So if you're poor, I'm going to have 2 free tracks on my website, arithegreat.com. I sort of like that idea. Just giving away a little bit. Not everything, just a couple free tracks so you can listen to it. And if you want to buy the rest, it'll be $7.99 probably on iTunes. And you can, but otherwise go to arithegreat.com in the next week or 2, and I'll have 2 free tracks in there. And go to arithegreat.com anyway and look at the extra footage I put in all my podcasts, or almost all of them when I have time. Details from the guests, like clips of their stand-up, stuff we talked about, if I remember, which I almost always don't, and whatnot and so forth. Anyway, you guys, please subscribe to these on iTunes. Thank you very much for tuning in. Please write me if you have any guest suggestions or topic ideas. Somebody suggested recently a ref from the UFC. What that's like. And I was like, great idea. I know Herb Dean. I know Josh Rosenthal. Those guys, Mario. They're all fucking cool guys, and I bet they would do it. Next time I have free time when I'm out of UFC, I'll do that. So, yeah, if you have any suggestions, write to contact@arithegreat.com. And I read all those emails. I don't respond to all of them, but I read all of them. Or hit me on Twitter @Ari Shaffir. And yeah, they totally go into account. Not specific people, even if you have specific people, tag me and tag them. And maybe, because like I said, I get sort of embarrassed asking people. But if they're into it, sometimes they are, and they respond, yeah, I would do that. Then I'm like, fuck yeah, let's hook it up. Somebody asked about the Sklar brothers. And then it made me think about it and ask them, and we're going to do one in August. Going to ask them all about being twins. Anyway, 14 minutes. But I talked mostly about Shroomfest. So, anyway, Nick Thune, he came over and talked. We talked about, I wanted to talk to him about being monogamous, because he's probably the prettiest guy I know who is monogamous. He's just a good-looking, hip dude, and I know he can get, I hate saying tail, but he can get pussy wherever he wants. But he just doesn't. And he gets it thrown at him once in a while, but he's a married guy, and I've never even seen him flirt. He just doesn't even bother. So we talked about that, and then our conversation just sidetracked completely into stories of how we used to steal when we were little. He was raised sort of Christian, and of course, like a lot of Christians I know, like Pete Holmes did, he rebelled a little bit. Pete Holmes just rebelled a little bit towards drugs. And by the way, in my Shroomfest primer, I have a Shroomfest primer on my website. If you go there and search Shroomfest, you'll see it. But it's just about a how-to do mushrooms, and I use a few examples of my friends, and Pete Holmes is one of them, stage name. But What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so people rebel. So Nick Thune did and just started fucking being a badass. Just started stealing and shit. And then fucking, too. When he's single, that guy... It's not like, okay, because the deal is like, oh, well, of course you can be monogamous when you can't get laid. When that guy's single, he gets laid. I'm telling you, on new levels. On levels you don't understand. There's a few guys who do it that much, and you don't understand how much they can get it. Mike Young is one. They just know how to turn girls on a level that you just can't comprehend. They have just, it's just game, and it's a casual game too, where they're just like, girls throw themselves at them. No, I'm getting a boner. All right, you guys, so from the Calgary airport to the Montreal airport to the Montreal Comedy Festival, I'm going straight from there to New York, doing some spots around town. I'm doing Comedy Juice. I'm doing stand-up in New York on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm doing Opie and Anthony one morning. I don't know yet, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. So if you wake up early enough, tune in. If you don't wake up early enough, don't wake up for me. It's going to be hard enough for me to wake up, but it's one of the only radio shows that I will do just to do. So yeah, and then I'm going straight to the Stress Factory in August 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th? August 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Doing the Stress Factory in Birmingham, New Jersey? No, something with the B, New Jersey. New Brunswick, New Jersey. And featuring for me is Kurt Metzger. He's one of the funniest comics in the world, really. And he's getting ready for his hour special on Comedy Central. So he's just, he's doing a half hour just to like get ready. So it's going to be an even better show now. So please come out. And that's it, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Hasta la vista. Happy Shroomfest. Nick Thune, here we go. Oh, what's I call this? Episode 69? Oh, is it 69? All right, good. Then it's good about sex. Man, I really should have gotten Mike Young for this episode. 69. Anyway, Nick Thune, episode 69. Monogaponymous. Should I call it that? I shouldn't call it that. Let's call it Monoganick. Episode 69, Monoganick. Nick Thune. All right, that works. Fuck. Hey, Nick Thune's here. I'll do an intro later.
Okay.
He was just telling me a cool story.
We can't tell it.
But man, good one. Like I'm still coming down from it. You know, I'm like,
it's a good story because you know it's bad.
Yeah.
You know the situation's bad.
Yeah. Let me start with this, I guess. How are you? Welcome. Hi.
Oh, I'm doing great. Yeah. I love your place, and you got stylish shoes, and
this is what it looks like when you live single.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been since you lived alone?
Technically 2 days, because my wife was just gone for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It was incredible. It was just so nice to like. It's been a long time since because I go on the road for 2 weeks at a time. Sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm alone. Or sometimes she'll come, but when you're actually in your home alone.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
really nice.
It's great. I love having her back, and it took the first day. It was almost like coming back from camp or something, where you're like bummed out to be home, and then and then you're like, oh, actually, it's nice at home. Camp's nice.
Yeah,
once
Mom cooks way better food than camp does.
Yeah. Oh no, just this morning she had coffee waiting for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't get that while she was gone. And we have a dog too, so it was like duty.
Do you ever? When I used to have roommates, I would come home. My couch was facing the TV, and the door was like way behind me, so he'd be like facing that way, and he'd open the door. Like if it was that door and he'd open it and go to his room, I just wouldn't even turn around or face him or even acknowledge him.
You didn't want to talk.
Just like, nope. I'm sorry you exist.
And so bummed if you come home and they're watching TV. You're like, oh, shit. Yeah. And that was before, when I was in that situation, before there was any such thing as like Netflix or anything. It was,
no, you need to get the TV.
You need to get there.
Call it and choose your
shows. Or if
shows.
you come home and he's with his girlfriend watching TV or a movie, they've just started like a Braveheart or something. It's like,
My roommate, I once brought.
These are all references from back when I was single.
Really? That's what happened. They actually watched Braveheart.
Yeah, they just finished up new episode of Friends and starting Braveheart.
I was like, the Wayans Brothers is on right now.
In Living Color was just dying down.
Were you alive when that was around? Not alive. Were you like old enough to remember it?
In Living Color? Oh yeah. I was old enough to remember it, but young enough to change a channel when the Fly Girls were on because I didn't want my parents to. I'd be embarrassed if they walked in with the Fly Girls on dancing.
Yeah, I would embarrass the fuck out of you.
What
right?
are you watching?
Like fourth grade.
What are you alone watching right now?
It's not that, Mom.
No, Jim Carrey. I relate to him. He's the one white guy on there, and he's a firefighter. By the way, watching that TV at my house, where I'm imagining that right now when I was younger.
Yeah,
watching In Living Color. There's two memories of getting in trouble with my parents. One of them was I was watching First of the Month video by what's the band Bone Thugs and Harmony. First of the Month. Watching that video, my mom comes downstairs holding a tin of chew.
Your mom?
Yeah, and she goes, "What's this doing in your sock drawer?" Oh fuck. You know, like she just always was searching through my shit. She used to read my yearbook.
How old were you?
13 or 14.
Why did you have chew?
Trying it out. Trying it out. We got it. My best friend's older brothers in high school. He totally got it for us.
Okay.
But another time, I was watching Robin Hood, the video to Robin Hood with Ryan Adams.
Okay.
My mom walks in and she goes, "I'm doing the laundry. Have you brought all your laundry down?" And I said, "Yeah." And she said, "What about all those socks under your bed?" Which I'd been jerking off into for about 6 months. And I just sat there. I just sat there and looked at her and was just like, "Oh, fucking bitch!
What an asshole!
Why?
What an asshole!
Why are you embarrassing me right
just
now?"
Just clear the fucking socks, Miss Thune.
I didn't say fucking bitch. I was definitely frustrated.
She could have just taken him away and not said a word. No. She knew what you were doing.
She knew exactly what I was doing. And like she didn't hide socks under her bed.
Girls don't beat off with socks.
Well, from her boyfriends.
Oh, right. Oh, you came in a broken home? Mm-hmm. Your parents weren't together?
Mm-mm. They were. I'm talking about like when she was younger, you know, like in junior high and high school. And her boyfriends came over and jerked off.
Jerked off into socks while they watched her. Yeah. She showed a little bit of cleavage.
They used to do that a lot back then. That's probably why she wanted me to do that, because it brought back some bad memories.
That's why it's called the sock hop back then, because they would do that and then hop around because they didn't have socks.
Those sock hops.
Yeah. So the reason I wanted to talk to you is because you're super monogamous, right?
I am.
You don't fuck around?
No.
And here's the weird thing. You are gorgeous.
Oh, Ari.
You're a pretty man.
That's why I have this beard, because I know that, you know, I have to rough. It's like getting a pair of white shoes. You just want to put a little nick on them, you know?
Yeah.
I won't be the guy that believes he's good looking.
You are. You and Dalia. Who else is there around? Who are the comedians? Who else is there that people are like? You're sort of heartthrobby.
John Mulaney, I was just noticing lately, has really grown into his skin. Like when I first met him, he was like skinnier and
nerdy,
but now he's filled out and he's I looked at him, I was like, wow, that guy's
looks like a man.
He's looking like a man. Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I have to look at him.
I hope he hears that.
And then he comes back into his shell. Fuck, I think I got too high before we did this. I'm going to try to stay focused.
Every time.
But I can tell.
Every time.
Okay, how long have you been monogamous for? How long has it been since you fucked another woman?
It has been, so I've been married for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
And we dated for 2 years before. So we actually dated for 3 years when I was younger, when I was 18. Okay. No, 19. When I was 19 years old. We dated for 3 years, and we broke up for 5, and then got back together for 2, and then got married.
Okay.
So in that 5 years, towards the end, I guess that was 6.5 years ago, yeah.
And how much puss were you wrecking at that time?
See, I've never been like a pussy hound.
No fucking way.
I mean, I did have some really fun experiences, especially being a single comedian, you know, that were fun. And I always had, like, I had this girl that I was kind of falling in love with in Sweden for like 2 years.
Really?
Where I met her traveling, and she actually came and visited me here twice. I visited her there a couple times. And the last time she came back to stay, and I didn't realize that she was going to be doing that. She had basically kind of shut her life down.
Whoa.
And it just floored me into like, I can't
can't do that.
You panicked.
Yeah, and it would turn into just a 2-week stay. And I didn't panic right away. I kind of accepted it right away, you know?
You're like, okay, I'll just live with this girl?
Well, I was just like, yeah, what? She's amazing. She was Swedish and she was beautiful. I met her in Barcelona. She was handing out flyers in like a plaza, like flyers for a pub crawl.
For extra cash?
Yeah, that's how she was living there with her sister there. And anyway, that's the reveal right there. But I was walking across this plaza and I saw her and we just made eye contact and I didn't see anything below her face. I just saw her eyes and blonde hair and I just walked right at her and just stood there and thought we were connected. And then she hands me a flyer and I'm like, oh, didn't even see that. Oh. So I leave and I was like, I thought we had a moment. I'm not interested in a pub crawl. So I leave and then 4 a.m. I'm dancing in some club and this girl's across the dance floor and we just connect and meet in the middle and we're like whispering in each other's ears and it's just like what dreams are made of basically and sweating and I look across the dance floor and I see her again but I'm still whispering in her ear and I'm like, I go, that girl there looks exactly to the T like you. And she turns around and she goes, oh, that's my twin sister.
Whoa.
And so that was began just this fascination with like, oh my, this is the...
Wait, was she the flyer
this
girl?
This is the ideal situation.
Yeah. Well, you're just romantic? You just Skyped a bunch?
No, we didn't. We just talked on the phone, yeah. It wasn't... I don't know. I don't like Skyping.
Why was it ideal?
She was a Swedish twin.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what's... So we dated. Yeah. We dated for 5 days in Barcelona, and then she went back to... She lived in Oslo. And I had no trip. I just had a Eurorail pass. But I bought like a cheap ticket on like Ryanair or something. And
really? When
flew
was
up
this?
to Oslo, 2003. Flew up to Oslo and lived with her for a month. They lived in a loft. I didn't know the living situation. Her and her sister, identical. The only way I could tell them apart was one had red fingernails, one had black fingernails. And depending on the outfit they wore that day, you know. But that visually, if I were to see them first in the morning without knowing what outfit they were on, that was the only way. And they had a loft with one king-size bedroom, and I slept in that king-size bed with both of them for a month. Never did anything with her sister, but...
Do you think they ever pulled the switcheroo on you?
They actually did one time. They pulled the switcheroo one time, not physically, like just like at a coffee shop or something. And I turned around and asked her something, and she pretended like she was her for a couple sentences because I was asking like intimate questions, not like sexual, but you know, things about our relationship. And then it was hard to actually trust them after that for a while because you had
no idea.
No, it was the nails, and I remember looking at the nails when I saw her and just assuming like. Sometimes because they were dark red, so it wasn't always.
Yeah, and just assuming it was the wrong one.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, that would make me like not trust somebody after a while.
But that never happened again. But I left. I was still traveling, and I realized I could have stayed with them for the whole rest of my time. And I thought, what? You know, I got to see Europe. I have this trip. I got to go out. So I left.
Yeah.
And actually got on the train. This was amazing. I kissed her right on the train, right outside the train, and we actually went over to. Not Copenhagen, Gothenburg in Sweden before this, and get on the train after kissing her and sit down and look over and see this amazing girl. She's from Brazil, and never talked to her the whole train ride.
Yeah.
Get off the train in Copenhagen, which was a long train ride. It went underwater at one point. Like, get off the train and run my debit card in the ATM right out there, and these two girls, her and her friend, are sitting there. Declined. Fucking declined. I'm overdrawn, everything. And I turn around and I walk over and I'm like, I just tell the story. And they're like, yeah, well, we're going to go find a hostel. It's like $20. We can spot you. And I go, tomorrow I can call somebody and get cash. And they trusted me. So went back, got in a hostel, 4 bunk bedroom.
Yeah.
That night with that Brazilian girl just right in the bed. It was amazing. But that's what going through Europe was like. I had this great experience in
How
Nice.
much hostel fucking is going on in the world?
In Nice. Have you been to Nice in southern France?
No.
It's amazing.
You just went around Europe?
Yeah.
Had you started comedy yet?
No. I was working at the Boys and Girls Club in Seattle and realized that I'd never traveled. I didn't go to college and I was just like, I need to fucking do something. All these people had these experiences. So I pulled out my IRA or whatever that I had at the Boys and Girls Club, which was $3,000.
Yeah.
And just went traveling.
That's so cool.
And my parents gave me like $1,000 extra because I ran out of money while I was there. But, just went, no plan, and had some amazing experiences in every city. But in this girl in Nice, so I met this Australian guy in my hostel, and we're like walking down the street by the beach, and these girls walk by and honk, and they pull over. We're like, pull over, and they pull over in this small little European car. And they start speaking French to us, and then the guy responds Australian, and they get really disappointed. Then I say something in American, and they're even more they thought we were two French guys, or two Italian guys, or something. And so they they're still talking to us begrudgingly, and they especially hate Americans. So the guy's like, well, let's go to this bar, Tom, like Malone's or something. We'll see you there at 8 tonight. So they meet us there, and we get dinner. And as we're eating dinner, none of them like me at all. They fucking hate Americans, and they hate me. And
why are they with you?
I think they like this Australian guy.
Okay.
He's in good shape. He's
Good
attractive. And one of them has a crush on him, and the other one's stuck to my demise. But it's not it's like stuck for
Jump
me.
on the hand grenade.
But at one point, they come by and hand these papers on our desk, like sign up for Rock-A-Roki. And I'm like, what's Rock-A-Roki? And they go, oh, there's like a full band, and they play a song, and then you sing it like karaoke.
Yeah.
But they only have specific,
you.
they might not be able to know your song. But you just write down a song, and then they take it down, and they pull it out, and if it, whatever. So I put it down, Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Just whatever. I was in a cover band at the time, and that was one that I was just nailing. And I put it in the thing, and they start to hit Rock-A-Roki. So everybody goes down, and I'm sitting there, and they call mine out. And I walk up, and I go, hey, I play guitar, too. Do you guys mind if I... And they go, great. So they hand me electric guitar.
Oh, really?
And I basically pulled a Michael J. Fox, and I just turn around, and I go, key of G. Boom. Go right into it, and just fucking nail, like a comedic, bit like heartfelt rendition of Every Rose Has Its Thorn. Walked off stage, and directly that girl grabbed my hand and took me down to the beach. Now, the beaches in Nice are rock. They're pebbles. They're like this big, these rock, like a baseball. It's not comfy. During the day, it sucks, although everyone's topless, so it makes it better. But I'm making out. I'm on against the rocks. She's on top of me, and I just think, you know what? I'm just going to take full control right now and just rock her world. And so I just grab her and just roll her and knock the wind out of her on these rocks to where she just gets up and goes, I'm not into this anymore. Walked away. The other guy was over there, was halfway down his fingers, and
halfway what?
Like he was just in it. He was already down. And
you knocked the wind
got
out
pulled
of her?
out. She grabbed her friend. I screwed up everything. Yeah, I knocked the wind out of her. Those pebbles. I also knocked the wind out of her on stage. So I take the first one.
That's hilarious, by the way. That you could turn her in fucking 3.5 minutes.
But I had so many great experiences single. When we did, that's what I love about my wife and I's experiences. Dating for 3 years, and she broke my heart. I was never over her that whole 5 years. So the first year I was I maybe dated one girl, but nothing.
You couldn't care about anybody?
No, I was in love with her. Every morning showering was the hardest part of my day, and it got progressively easier from there. But every morning it just reset shower. Because
you think about her?
Yeah, I was in love with her. And every morning my heart was broken. Like, who could she? Is she? Because she seemed okay, Oh
yeah.
And there's always one person, but she wasn't okay.
They always seem okay.
But she was actually the perfect. She broke up perfect. She cut it. She cut me off. No back. No making out anymore.
Right.
Just done.
Deal with it. We're done.
And once a year, she would succumb to meeting with me.
She would what?
She would succumb to meeting with me. Like I'd be like right around Christmas time usually when you're feeling very sentimental and I want to get together.
You have to come on, please let me just see you.
Yeah. And I would text her, email her. Yeah, let's get coffee. And I'm like, yeah, just simple, let's just catch up. Sit down within 2 minutes. I love you. I'm in love with you. I've thought about it. I'm in love with you. And you're making the worst decision of your life. And I'm here to tell you that. And you might think I'm wrong right now. But when we do get married, I want to talk to you about how right I will be. And every time the same angle. Every single time.
Do you remind her of it now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She loves talking about it.
Bitch, remember when you said that I was wrong? Well, you were wrong.
Yeah, exactly. But now you want to have that anger about it, but at the same time, which I was anger, and like my friends were at some points just so sick of me. Like, dude,
talk about it.
Stop.
Broken up people are the worst.
Shut the fuck up. They are the worst.
They just keep talking and talking the same things over and over again.
It's so hard. My younger brother went through one. This girl broke his heart 3 times. She broke up with him 3 times. But because I'm married to the girl that did that to me once, he sees that there's a chance somehow. And eventually to realize there's not. And every single time I'd get him there and he'd get the realization, then he'd just go back, But it's really fun too when I look back and love that I went through that because it really put me to where I was. I remember just sitting like at home alone with the candles on with a fucking guitar, like an idiot.
When you were single?
When my heart was broken, just with like a pad of paper, just like knowing how real it was and just wanting to put it somewhere.
Really?
But like an idiot, just like a douchebag, just trying to experience it.
It's so fucking horrible. Yeah, like feeling like you're like powerful because you're going through this pain that no one can deal with, no one can understand.
Loving music, they get it.
Yeah.
Songwriters get me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at some point, you like hit 30 and you're like, oh yeah, everyone's been through the exact same thing.
Yeah, it's all the same. Yeah.
And you're just like, you'll get over it, man. I don't care.
Ecclesiastes. It's biblical.
What is that?
There's nothing new under the sun.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what it says.
It's all meaningless, is the whole point of it. It's all meaningless.
That's not the quote. There's nothing new under the sun, is there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's hilarious.
Whatever is has already been.
Yeah, I agree with that sometimes.
I mean,
every time I think of myself in terms of like, well, I don't want to do like a spot tonight or something like that,
yeah.
to say, and I'm like, oh, I'm like those people that I didn't understand when I started comedy. We're like, what do you mean you're not going to go up in front of 8 people? Are you crazy? You're
one of those people that seeing your name up on the board at the club you don't even think twice about it. You're not taking a picture of it anymore.
No.
But I remember the first time I walked up the Improv and I saw that board, I thought, oh, if I ever walk around that same corner and I see my name on it, it's just going to mean the world to me.
Yeah.
And it did the first time. It was very impressive, and not anymore.
You just stop giving a fuck.
Yeah, now it actually bums me out.
You're responsible?
No, I still love it.
I hate myself. Don't tell anyone else.
No, I do still take pictures and send it to my dad.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Because you know it'll make him happy?
Because he can't be here, and any inkling I give him of my life, he just really savors it, you know?
Yeah,
and I hate it
parents.
when I hold back from him, it just breaks my heart. When I realize when I'm doing it, it sucks.
It's because they're like happy with it.
Because sometimes you don't always have good shit to say, and so saying bad things to him, then he's worried.
You give bad news to your father?
Yeah, if I have to. If he's aware that I had an audition, then I have to give him the bad news that I didn't get it.
Right. Yeah, when they call you, say, yeah, I'm up for something, we'll see.
Yeah.
And then 2 days later, did you hear? Like, oh, no, I've already gone through this heartbreak.
For the first time this last week, I was up for something, and it was more than just an audition, but I didn't tell my dad. For the first time, not telling him in that situation.
Really?
And I didn't get it.
And, good for you.
And
so it didn't come
yeah. So I didn't have to deal with my dad. I didn't have to tell him.
Get your hopes up, and now pull the rug.
But at the same time, wouldn't it make my relationship with my dad that much better if I did share that with him? And then
you could share with him?
Yeah.
My mom once called me, and she was like, something's wrong with you. Like, after I talked to her for like 5 minutes, she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, nothing. And after like 10 more minutes, she was like, something's in your voice. Like, what's up? Mm-hmm. And I just couldn't hold it back anymore. And I was like, I got somebody pregnant. And she was like, oh, Ari. She's like, how did that happen? And I was like, how do you think, Mom?
When the way she said, oh, Ari, was exactly like that. Like,
it was that way.
Compassion.
Yeah, like, no, compassion, but also like disappointment. Like, oh, Ari.
But at the same time.
Yeah, compassion, but fuck, but.
Standard.
Oh, baby.
Standard procedure.
Yeah. And she's like, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I don't know what she said. She's probably going to get rid of it. She hasn't done it yet, but she's leaning that way. We got another week to decide. Mm-hmm. But she never told my dad.
And now that kid's 13.
And, he'd be like 8 or something now. Oh, my life would be ruined. You have any kids?
Oh, no.
Are you gonna
I have a dog. Yeah, actually, I recently was thinking to myself, why am I not having a kid?
Because why would you? That's not a good enough reason to have a kid.
No, that doesn't mean I'm going to have a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm not having one immediately. And I think maybe not for 2 years. But I really do want to have a kid.
Why?
Because I've seen good and I've seen bad with parents. And I'm talking about people my age that I'm related to that have kids or I just know, you know, and like my sister's a really great mother, you know, and she still lives her life. She still has friends and goes out and does things. And it's really cool to see a parent like that. And they bring their kids places with their friends. That's cool.
You want another one of those?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But my sister-in-law, she has 2 children, and so it's a little bit harder for her, and she's just stuck, you know, like she just in it, and it's hard. Actually, you know what? I want to cut. I don't want to talk about my sister-in-law. Okay. That'd be bad. That's another neighbor situation.
All right,
she's an incredible.
Different story.
I was going to say she's a really good mother, but I knew it was going to come off wrong because I was going to take a while around to get there.
Oh.
And there's no point in it.
Would change,
there's no point in it, yeah.
You ever do that? Tell half a story and then get sidetracked and be like, what the fuck, man? He's like, oh, no, I didn't get to the part where I said how great a guy you were.
The radio cut me off.
Yeah. We had to go to break and then I just got sidetracked.
The nice thing, what I was going to say is my sister actually has my mom to take care of the babies, and my sister-in-law lives in a city where she's alone.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm sitting in right now, where my sister-in-law's at, where my parents aren't here to like babysit every day. So my sister still teaches.
Yeah.
My mom is like the best grandma in the world.
Dude, you don't want a kid. That's so much responsibility. Mm-hmm. Why would you want one?
I guess maybe selfish reasons.
What's to see your genes go on?
No.
Like your genes are so great?
Because I want to try and be as good as a dad as my dad, and I think that I have it in me, and I think that it would be great to be able to produce what my dad... I'm not saying that I'm great, but I know that my dad's proud of me, and I think that makes him very happy. Kid? What's that? I would adopt a child.
Really?
Yeah. My wife and I have spoken of that, actually.
I feel like you should. It's like there's a bunch of... It's like this pound
Yeah, we
puppies.
don't know what
Get a pound puppy.
We have a friend that did one of each.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
To test?
No, they had a child, and then they adopted a child.
And what did they say about the difference, or was there one?
They love them both. I think they're really great parents. So it's kind of like,
and were they
it's
really
like a one-armed girl from Malaysia.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they have
whoa,
and she's amazing, and
so...
it's such a great dynamic to watch. It's great to see good parents because their life's better because of it, and their kids are incredible. I just worked on a job where the woman that was directing this movie, her whole family was there throughout the whole movie, and they shot a lot of it at their house, and her husband was great, and she was great, but her kids were amazing.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like you walk into a room and you see kids, and you're like, oh, let me find the area where I can avoid him. It was like, oh, I want to joke around with Sean.
Because they're like cool, well-adjusted.
John, how's the weekend, man? And he's like, oh, good, the wife was out of town. And, he's funny and smart. And
how old is he?
11.
Oh, wow, that's
and
cool.
You could I was filling up balloons with flour and giving him to him and then popping him and having flour blow all over his face, and he loved it. And I would love to have a kid to do that.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah.
That's great. Do you ever get tempted to fucking go astray?
I don't think it would be...
what are the pros and the cons?
There's no reality if you're not. I mean, of course.
Yeah. You have to be, right?
I mean, I was last night when I watched a movie with a beautiful woman on it. You know what I mean? I thought, I wonder how I can get to her. I wonder, how could I get to her?
Now that you're in Hollywood, you start thinking, I could find someone.
Yeah.
I could put my management in charge. Hey, get that girl. I want a meeting with her. They could probably get it done.
Yeah. It'd be great. But every time I have those fantasies, I know that what they are on the other side is just a fantasy. And I know that that's said over and over again, and even if I had the desire for I just have the desire for women, and we're made that way. We're made to procreate. We're made to just have sex with tons of people all the time. Guys are just made to go. And a woman's not made that way. Guys are.
So why do we have to live their way?
At least that's what my therapist tells me.
Yeah.
And I think that's also the excuse that everybody uses for cheating.
Oh, guys are just built differently?
Guys are just built differently.
Probably.
I think maybe that could be true a long time ago, but I think people have all come together. I don't know. I don't want to offend women. I think women are hilarious.
Do you feel weird now every time subject of females in comedy comes up? You have to be like, "Hey, let's just change the subject here."
I've never.
Is this just
the funny thing is I never even
misquoted.
I don't think I would have ever thought about that if older comics didn't think it was a thing. Yeah, I would have just thought oh, women are funny. They're just like me. We're all we're trying at it.
Who cares? At some point, it's whatever. We're all just trying to make a good joke.
Yeah.
So wait. Fuck, I had a good question.
Someone's going to probably use that quote. Probably going to go big on those.
Really? Yeah, probably. Just take it out of context. We don't condone the rape of any women in jokes or the, I don't know. But so you get cheating. Tempted, and how do you fucking not do it? How do you justify saying, no, I'm not going to do this? Especially when you go on the road.
Well, because it's as simple as just, on the road is tough, but I have a one-track way about myself. I've never been driven sexually, and I can go without it forever. It's not a thing for me. So I do love sex, and believe me, I look forward to it at all accounts. But I get in moments where I don't even think about women really, and then when I do, and then I have moments where I can think about it as women. I don't know, I'm sure everybody's that way, but I've never been taken to a place where it's really put out there for me. I mean, I've had chicks come up to me and be like, I want to fuck you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a place.
Yeah, but I had this one great experience, and this was actually before I was married or single, before I was back together with Suzanne, but I was working with this girl, and she was not my type. And we were in the car, and my car was broken down, so I needed to ride to an open...
But you're still with her. Yeah.
No, not my wife.
I know, this girl.
I'm saying,
but you're still in the store, you're still hanging out with her.
No, she works with me, but my car was broken, and I was doing an open mic at the Rainbow Room. And I was doing a half-hour show at the Rainbow Room because the guy that books the open mic books half-hour shows for musicians, and that's how I kind of started in LA. I was playing all these musical open mics, so I was doing half-hour sets.
Oh, really?
And I went and did it. I needed a ride, so she drove me. I was at work. I was like, "Hey, do you want to go to the show?" And I think she thought it was me wanting to hook up with her, so she came to the show, and then she's like, "You want to go back to my place and smoke pot?" Great. So we go back. I remember she had really short thumbs.
the sign.
Yeah.
Let's
so we go in a room. We're smoking out of a bong.
Yeah.
Thought we were just having a good time. And then I was like, oh, God, I got an early morning. Louie's picking me up because Louie's another guy that works with us who's picking me up. And she's like, oh, that's cool. All right, yeah, I'll drive you. So we get down in the car, and she starts the car, and she stops, and she looks at me, and she goes, you know, I could take you home, and Louie could pick you up, or we could just go back upstairs, and I could just fuck your brains out for the rest of the night. And I was looking down at her CD case on the floor.
Yeah, who was it?
And no, it was just a closed CD case, just thinking, like, what do I say right now? Do I, like, acknowledge the thing? And I played it off like she was joking. And I go, actually, could you drop me off at Louie's place? I kind of want to go fuck the shit out of him.
That's a good... Wait, when you say not your type, mean you're just not attracted to her?
No, nobody would have.
Okay. Oh, that's an uncomfortable place.
No, a lot of people would have been.
That's an uncomfortable place.
That sounded absolutely so terrible.
It's LA, dude. We have a different set of standards here.
I know. But she, anyway, gone. She laughed it off and drove off.
Moment.
We never acknowledged that it was real.
When somebody that you would just never ever fuck, like sort of keeps flirting, and you're like, are you crazy?
But,
are you seeing me not?
I was also brought up in a Christian household to where, like, when I was sex ed in 8th grade, we had to go get a notice, like, to our parents and have them sign it saying, I allow my son or child or daughter to be in this and learn about condoms and learn about, protected sex. And I brought it home. My mom wouldn't sign it, and I was the only student in that class that wasn't allowed in there because she was like, "I don't want you having unprotected. I don't want you having sex with a condom. I want you to get married and have sex with your wife." So,
did you end up fucking without a condom before marriage?
I have at some point. Yeah,
everybody has. But
yeah, I have, and it. I mean, it was weird. But it definitely set up a thing in my head where I was never a womanizer. I was never like all about women because I did have a fear of sex because of the way I was brought up and taught about it, like to stay away from it and wait and wait. And if you wait, it's good, And
I shook myself with that.
I definitely believe that waiting is good. I mean,
waiting is good for how long?
Until you're ready. I don't know. I don't think.
How old were you when you lost virginity?
I'm not sure if I was ready when I lost my virginity. I was 17.
Okay, that's about standard, right?
Pretty standard, yeah. It was at a homecoming dance. It was with my girlfriend that had broken up with me 2 weeks before.
Just right in the dance floor?
We still went.
Like Sliver?
On the dance floor.
Fucking stuck it in?
No, in a hotel room with like double like hotel room that friends had rented, and people were upstairs having sex. I was down on the couch having sex.
Just a virginity party.
Basically, yeah.
How long did you last?
Under a minute.
I think I was too. I think it was like
under
20, 30 seconds. She cried. I remember.
Well, she was a virgin too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yours wasn't?
No, she was.
Okay. That's nice too.
Yeah.
You waited for her like you were in love with her?
Oh, she broke my heart when she broke up with me. Courtney. Oh.
Yeah.
This was actually where my life was kind of crashing. My parents eventually kicked me out after this.
Why? Okay.
I was just a partier, and but not like that bad, but just to them as Christians, it was just like, oh, this kid is bad. Let's get him out of this house. And then I got kicked out of school and sent to rehab. But this girl, Courtney, I was at this keg, and it was like out in this construction field somewhere, and out there's like this huge gravel hill, like a mountain. They were using all this gravel to build a development. And I was drunk, and I crawled up to the top of this gravel hill and got to the top, and I was like, Courtney! Courtney! Everyone in the whole party, it was like 100-some people, just turned around from this whole thing. Courtney, I fucking love you! I'm still in love with you! Slip, just slip out from under my feet and just fucking slide down this gravel hill.
Oh.
People
like
rolling on the ground like as if it was a bit. This guy is doing a bit. It was terrible.
That's so uncomfortable.
Yeah. But, I also think, because when you get married, I never had a fear of being, am I going to be stuck to being single forever?
You won't say anything, right? You just want to hold up the boombox and have her come out.
Yes.
I love you. And then you fall down a gravel hill, which is not going to take you back
Desire
anyway.
Those moments. No. That was the Cusack of that party. And I hadn't even seen that movie yet. I didn't even see that until I was in my 20s.
Oh, Jesus. So what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I feel like because of all these embarrassing experiences and this Swedish girl and this other girl that I totally was dating for a while that worked at the Boys and Girls Clubs, that this was a good one.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say Boys and Girls Club. I already said it twice.
We get it.
This nonprofit organization. No, just for that, I don't want to ruin their name. There's nothing bad about it. But I dated this girl who started working there as a dance instructor, as a volunteer. And once a week, she taught a dance class. And the guy that hired her worked in my cubicle with me. We had like a 2-person cubicle. And I remember just being like, at one point, like 2 weeks in, like, that girl is amazing.
Yeah.
What's her deal? And he goes, I don't know. She goes to this community college and blah, blah, blah. And I thought, okay, great. So game on. She's my age. So I go out. Finally we go on a date and we start dating. And then I realize she goes to community college because she's in the Running Start program. She's a senior in high school. The Running Start program. And she had told them that she was in college. And she turned 18 in a week from that point.
Ooh.
And that's why she told them, because she thought there's no, anyway, that was like, oh, shit. But she was great. She went to this all-girls school in Boston. That was amazing. I went and visited her.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that just a horn fest?
I mean, with us, but I don't know if she didn't tell me much about what happened there, but I'm sure a lot happened. A lot of those girls were experimenting.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah. And
they all like made out.
And
here
also,
there.
but they're not even lesbian. I'm talking about experiencing. I'm talking about experiencing like
Just people
the
around
guys'
town.
colleges that are surrounding them too. I mean, there's almost more colleges in that area than anywhere else, and
Why
they're
are religious people more sluttier than non-religious people?
because they've been held back.
Yeah.
And being held away from something it's just like you just run at it even harder.
Yeah.
And then when you get it, you just devour it.
Yeah, yeah. I did what you did, where I had that same weird thing about sexuality, where it's like I would never tell my parents about anyone I was dating, and I barely ever fucked.
Yeah.
And I want to like going out, and then at some point, it was like, oh, yeah, it's fine. But
You told your parents?
what?
Yeah, you told your parents knew you were having sex.
Oh yeah, at some point they knew. I really never talked to them about that stuff.
My parents found out I was having sex because we were on a family vacation when I was 17.
Yeah.
I just got out of treatment, actually, in Sun River, Oregon, and I met
What
this
treatment? Oh,
rehab.
really?
Yeah, I was there for a month.
How old were you?
17. I was young,
Jesus.
so it was just like, I was a bad kid, but I just didn't have anything else. All my friends were athletes, and I wasn't one, so it was like, what else am I going to do? I'm going to be popular in this other way. I'll be a party animal, and I got voted life of the party.
What was your drug?
Just drinking and weed. Yeah, just But I met this girl and had unprotected sex in Sun River on a golf course with her and her cousin. And
Can you imagine doing that now with a girl? Just like, hey, let's go to this golf course and do it.
no. And I only had sex with one of them. The other one was just kind of there. But
Yeah.
got home, my pee was burning.
Oh.
And I was unaware that you could go to the doctor without notifying your parents beforehand. I thought I had to be like, hey, mom and dad,
I just have to admit something to you because I got to do this.
I got to go to, you got to take me to the doctor or whatever. I got to go, but set the appointment for me. And I went in, they gave me a shot. They put a Q-tip up my hole.
Yeah.
Came back chlamydia. But in that process, I also had a job at the time that I just despised. The worst job. It was actually a great job. I just didn't want it. I was a senior in high school and I was selling cars.
Yeah.
And I wanted to quit.
Sounds rad.
It was great. No, but you're actually competing against 40-year-old men that have a family to provide for, and it's all commission. So eventually, at first, it's like, oh, this is a young guy out here. Because I was washing cars for the dealership, and they had an off-site sale at this mall parking lot. And I was like, hey, I've already washed all the cars. How about I wear a suit
Can I
tomorrow?
sell one?
Try and sell a car. Why not? And they did, and I sold 3.
Wow.
Not in one day, but over that weekend.
And then everybody hated you?
No, they loved me because I didn't finish the sales. I got to the finishing point, then they had to show me how to do the paperwork. But it was like, oh, my dad got me the job there. He's in the car business, and they all knew my dad, and so they loved it. And then after a while, some of them did despise me, and I wanted to quit, but I thought they thought it was so cool that I was doing what I was doing that like quitting would just seem like, wow, we were disappointed.
The people you hated? Your parents?
No, the dealership, the owner of the dealership. This guy, I forget his name, and so. I'd just gotten those tests done. They tested me for all STDs and AIDS and everything from having sex with that girl. There was going to be 5 days till the results. So I go into his office the next day and break into tears.
Yeah.
And tell him I have HIV. I have it. I have HIV and I can't work for him anymore.
To cover up the chlamydia?
To cover up that I wanted to quit.
That you just didn't want to be there?
Yeah. I used in my life, which, hey, when you take an AIDS test and you haven't heard back, a little bit in your head is like, maybe I got it.
Did you think? Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Until you get your test back, you're like, I have it.
And it's the first time I'd ever taken one of those. And I just thought, I wasn't convinced that I had them, but it definitely helped my performance in the room because I was crying. And he did eventually cry with me and come over. And he said, I understand if you can't work anymore. And I said, I just got to be with family. And Leave like I can't believe I did it. I'm a genius. Get home, dinner. My dad walks in. I forget everything that he got me the damn job. And he goes, "Hey Nick, talk to so and so. Do you have AIDS?" No. Okay, get on the phone and tell him you lied. And I was just like, I'm an idiot. Constant. Yeah, that was my family.
I stole a comb from my cousin once. I was staying in his room. He was out in the army in Israel, and he has this cool like palmetto comb.
A comb?
Yeah, and it had this weird colorful pony on it. So I took it. My dad was like, "Yeah, comb." He said, "Where'd you get that?" I was like, "I don't know. What's his name's?" He asked me to go back there and tell him you stole it. I was like, "Fuck, dude, don't. No. You just, how about I'll just put it back?" I don't have to, but man, I had to do it. It's so hard. It's so hard.
I did that with a watch. I didn't steal it. Actually, this kid gave me a watch.
Yeah.
We're at his house. He's like, "Hey, you can have this watch." Okay, great. Pocket it, walk out. Later that night, his fucking dad's a cop. The cop calls my dad, says, "Get over here, bring that watch, bring the watch over." He denied to his dad that he said I could have the watch.
What?
The whole time.
So there's no way they're going to believe you.
I was accused of the thief. Yeah.
Why didn't he just say, because he would get in trouble?
Yeah. I stole so much shit when I was younger. I used to steal chromies off cars. You ever do that?
Really?
Like cars
the Mercedes-Benz things?
No, like if you own a car. Those are hoodies. I used to steal those too, but not as much. The chromies are like the thing that hold the air pressure in. You know, the little twist off?
Oh, yeah.
When they're chrome. You'll see those on nicer cars. They have a chrome twist off. And there's designer ones too, like with an 8-ball. You know, you can get them like, with like a BMW logo, you know. So I used to go steal those from cars. I taught friends how to do it. And we used to
twist it off?
The rumor was you take them to a pawn shop, you get $4 per chromie. Not true. Never happened. But
did you ever go to a pawn shop and try?
Yeah, tried once. They were like, "Get the fuck out of here." And my mom, but I come home from school one day, just like the socks, my mom's standing there with a bag of chrome. I come walk in on the kitchen counter is a bag of chromies. I'm like, fuck. My mom's like, "So your friend Guy was at Fred Meyer," which is a grocery store up in Seattle, was at Fred Meyer, and his parents were shopping, and the security guard walks up to him with Guy and says, "Your son was just out there stealing stuff off cars, and he says that you're the one that taught him how to do it."
Did you try to deny it?
No, I was like, "Yeah, fuck Guy, he's a fucking pussy." Yeah. Of course I denied it. I denied everything.
You said
every time.
Never told him that?
Yeah, no. And then I eventually had to confess. The biggest denial I had that took me 2 years to confess to my parents was I went in and stole hair dye from a Safeway grocery store. Yeah. Bleach my hair. My buddy, he was driving his parents' car. Walk in, just grab it, walk out, go home, dye my hair, come home, go to my math tutor next door. Math tutor gets a phone call. "Hey, your parents just called, meet you out front." I'm like, "You live in our backyard." You're like, "I walked through our backyard to get here." And she's like, "Nope, they want you to meet them out front." So I go out, they pull up in the car. I know exactly what's happening. We're going to Safeway. Not one word in the car. They drive me all the way to Safeway. We walk in, they get the manager. Take us to, where the Thunes or whatever. They walk us down. He goes to the hair dye that I stole and grabs another one, the same one that I stole, and walks it up to the counter and rings it in. And he goes, "One of these hasn't been bought for 2 weeks." Because I go, "Yeah, I bought that today." Because I'm standing there with my hair dyed.
Yeah.
I can't deny it.
Yeah. Like, I had hair dye. It wasn't a fright.
"I bought that today." And he goes, "Nobody has bought this for 2 weeks." And I look at him, I go, "Is that thing 100%? And he goes, "It's 99. And I was like, "This is a 1%. This is it. I didn't steal this. I bought it today. I paid cash for it. Nick Shoemaker drove me to his house and drove me home." Never. My parents paid him for it. And I was like, "Why? I don't know why you're paying. Stop." They paid him for it. "We're sorry. Just take
deny till the end."
Yeah, denied.
Why did they think you had stolen it?
2 years later, I took it because a lady saw us. The way they got me, lady saw us, saw me walk out with it, followed us out, wrote down the license plate number from Nick,
and then called?
From my buddy Nick's car, yeah. Called his parents called
What a goody two-shoes that girl is.
Yeah.
Wow, protecting CVS there, huh?
When I worked at another grocery store, I used to have a deal with people show up, and I would go. I'd be like garbage run. I was bagging groceries, so I'd go around in garbage runs, and you'd have like a huge bin. You've seen people at grocery stores doing this, and there's just different garbage cans throughout a grocery store that people don't even realize are there. Emptying all of them, take them back. What they don't know is that on the bottom of all those garbage bags are garbage bags full of beer that I put from the back. Just garbage beer and garbage bags, put them back there. Re-garbage canned all the garbage cans. Garbage bagged all the cans. Threw all the garbage away back out in the dumpster, and then took those bags and just put them right behind the dumpster where there was 20s laying. Walked away. They drove up, picked up the beer, gone.
Wow.
And then one time, the manager walked up to me and said, said, hey, I got to say something to you. I know you're doing something. I know you're doing something illegal because people are coming in, they're talking to you, you're walking around, you seem to be watching your back, and I don't know what you're doing, but I know you're doing something. And I was like, okay, I'm not doing anything.
Wait, 2 years later?
2 years later, I told my parents about that. I did tell that guy about all that stuff, actually, because that was before I got sober. After I got sober, I went through this whole come to Jesus, like...
And you have to tell everybody everything?
Confess, yeah, everything. Everybody that I wronged, tell them.
Mm-hmm. And you did?
Yeah, oh yeah.
My cousin once removed, that guy that I stole his comb from, his older sister's son, stole like a 5 shekel coin. You know those like 1776 quarters?
Yeah.
They're not worth anything more, but they're just like, oh, cool. So they had one of those, and he stole one. And I know it was there because I remember seeing it, like a Golden May Ear logo, and then it wasn't. So I was like, I don't care. It's like $2. I don't care. But I was like, I should tell her. And so I was like, just so you know, like I honestly don't give a fuck, but I think the oldest one fucking swiped that. And then like a day later, he showed up, and I knocked on the door, I opened it up, and he was just there with a somber face, handing me 5 shekels.
Oh, dude,
it's so bad for him.
The worst. It's the worst. I've had when I was playing in it's Missouri, the Deja Vu Comedy Club. You ever played there?
No, I've heard about it though.
They have this downstairs dance club at night, and there's a green room down there for the comedians, but it's not closed off. They say after the show, hey, you can put your shit in here if you want to have a drink or something. So I put my stuff in there.
Yeah.
My guitar, my backpack, and I'm out having a drink, and this kid's being a fucking dick. He's like, I guess he's been kicked out of there twice. I didn't even know it, right? Anyways, I leave. I go home to my hotel, wake up in the morning, and on Twitter, some kid has posted like all these things like at Nick Thune show. Just heckled Nick Thune, which he did. Just got kicked out of. Just got back in. Just stole a bottle of liquor. Everything he's done his whole night down. I screenshot it, and then at the end he goes, "Just stole at Nick Thune's guitar strings," and it shows and all this shit, like saying all this stuff.
Why would he tag you on it?
What's that?
Why would he tag you on?
He's an idiot. Yeah. He's an idiot, thinking he's funny, right? So I go in, my guitar strings are gone. It was like an extra pair of strings I had in there. I'm like, this kid was throwing my shit. So I call the club, and I screenshot his thing, got his name. I call the club, and they have college kids that work there, and so they all go to the same college. It's a college town, huge college, and they look up his name in the college directory because this girl has access to it, and there he is, all of his information. And they actually had the video of the green room. They have a video camera in there, and I went down and looked at the video, and it's a kid. Him and his buddy come in. They close their door like, holy shit. They're smoking cigarettes. They're drinking. They're looking around at everything. They open the guitar case. He's taking cell phone pictures of him playing my guitar and all this shit. And then he looks in, grabs the strings, closes it, and walks out.
Really?
So he's like, what do you want to do? I'm like, we got his mom's phone number? He goes, yeah, let's call his mom.
Whoa.
Call the kid's mom.
That's like way more fun than the cops.
So fun.
Wow.
So, and I'm like, because he's like, we want to press charges. I'm like, no, let's just call his mom. Call his mom. They lived 4 hours from there. His dad was in Italy. He's a rich businessman. Told her everything. She was in a car in 30 minutes, drove all the way over there, was ready to drive him home. They moved him out of his dorm, put him into an apartment, helped the guy out, basically. But he came to the club, I wasn't there, with a note and gave it to them, to me, a full-on apology. Like, and then wrote me an email, all this shit, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did he send you back your guitar strings?
Heartfelt. And he said that I changed his life. He's never going to drink again. All these things.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you tried to keep tabs on him? No way.
No.
That's
and he's
amazing.
never tried to get a hold of me.
He probably drinks. He probably drinks, right? No way anybody quit.
I'm sure. But, he's in college.
That's hilarious. Mm-hmm. That's hilarious. That's the exact right person to call, too.
Might have roughed him up for a couple years, maybe.
Because cops, you don't care if they like, pursue charges. You're like, I don't want to go to jail. I don't give a fuck, really. But
yeah. Cop would have gotten cops going to do other guitar strings. I mean, I got the strings back, too. And I have it. I actually have it on VHS.
What? The
security camera.
Really?
Yeah.
You should put that online.
I've thought about it.
With the story.
Well, I did the story on Conan briefly, like a real short version of it on the couch. And I didn't know I was going to be on the couch until last minute, so I didn't have time to and I just kind of thought of that. I was like, oh, I'll do this. But I wish that I would have known a day in advance. I would have gotten that VHS. It would have been amazing.
To play it right there.
Yeah.
You should put that online and play the VHS with it. You talked about the VHS?
Yeah.
In there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I should. I just have it. It's in my desk.
SJP.
I don't know how to watch it. I got to look at it.
Oh yeah, VHSs are impossible to watch. Everybody I know has a bunch of VHS tapes, and nobody fucking throws them out. They're like, oh, I gotta.
Actually, my buddy Kyle Mooney, the kid that you liked in that video, he's got a VHS collection with players.
Really? And he plays them?
He loves watching VHS.
I recorded every episode of The Simpsons for a while on VHS, like a bunch per tape.
Never recorded over?
You can just download these at any moment.
Did you have like 120-minute VHS tapes?
Yeah, you go long. I had 8 hours. I didn't have 120. I played EP.
8 hours? Holy
SLP.
Shit.
A super long play.
Wow.
We're really not talking about monogamy at all.
No.
That's all right.
Is that bad?
No, it happens sometimes. Let's just talk about more stories about stealing.
We brought monogamy back around, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got caught stealing baseball card shit. I was at Fred Meyer. I used to love baseball cards.
Yeah.
And I just love stealing, so
I was getting caught.
Came together. Yeah. I never got caught, usually. Friends got caught. Because of them, I got caught.
Oh, because they ratted you.
So here's a situation how my friend got caught and then I got caught. Smoking pot, was young. I think I just turned 16 or something, maybe even younger. No, 14. And we needed something to smoke out of. We didn't want to smoke out of a can. So I cut a broomstick. It was in my garage. I sawed the end off a broomstick, drilled a hole. Stupid. Drilled a hole in it and made it like a pipe out of this broomstick.
Jesus.
Carved a little out. Had this thing. All of them. Me and my buddies were in the garage, and as I'm painting it, and I've stolen like a thing out of a sink, and I'm about to put it in there, but I haven't put the pill in there yet. From the sink, you get the screen.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't put the screen in it yet, so my dad comes out and he goes, "What are you making?" And I go, Kevin's ping pong table. The leg broke. So the screw will match right into this hole. So I we just made it and measured it out. Oh, okay, cool. Walks in, done. Never getting caught.
Nice.
I'm perfect.
Nice.
2 days later, my buddy Wade got caught with pot. Told his parents. Nick Thune's the one that told me to smoke pot. Yeah,
he bottomed out a fucking broomstick.
Bottomed me out. To come home from school, fucking broomstick and is on the kitchen table. Every time coming home from school, something on that table.
I love that they leave evidence out just to get your reaction.
The guy told him wait. Yeah, it was almost like
waiting for you.
Let him walk in and see it and see what he does. I remember one time I came home shit-faced. I had driven.
What is that? Why do they do it that way?
This great white Jetta.
Yeah.
Wake up at like 10, come down on a Saturday morning thinking like life's good. And on the counter is like a half rack of natural ice that had been in the trunk of my car because we were out drinking that night. I'm an idiot. I didn't think like my parents are going to look at my trunk.
Fuck. Your parents didn't trust you
on the counter.
Shit.
My dad did. My mom just...
I love it. Like
she read my yearbooks. My buddy in my yearbook. My friends are idiots. He wrote like, "Oh man, Channel 61!" exclamations, which meant the Spice Channel, which we used to watch. And it was just like something he wrote in my yearbook entry. Yeah. My brothers tell me this side of the story. My brothers are watching TV. My mom comes downstairs with my yearbook, opens up, changes the channel to 61, and this blur comes on, and it's just like, oh, and they see like a tit for a second, and my mom is like, "I knew it," turns it down. Yearbook open to the thing when I come home.
What is this?
What's Channel 61? You watching pornography? Oh God.
I had once I wrote in my planner, my rabbi had said like, "Hey, we're having a quiz on like the 27th." So as I showed everybody, it was like in my planner, it was like, "Be sick on the 27th." Mm-hmm. And then my mom found that. So what is this? And I was like, "Oh, it's a joke. I'm not going to be sick."
Mom didn't understand your comedy back then?
She didn't know.
She doesn't now.
No. Wasn't very good back then. And she still doesn't now. It's for different reasons.
No. My mom thinks I'm funny sometimes, but I don't.
Really?
Like, it's how ridiculous it is. The Curves reference is not made for a laugh. But when my Comedy Central special aired, she said, she goes, "I told this lady that I work out with at Curves to watch you on Friday." So excited. And then after Friday, on like Saturday, well, I don't know about now going back to Curves and seeing her after that masturbation joke.
Really?
Embarrassed that I told a masturbation joke.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know, bum me out.
Those are annoying.
It's just like, Mom, just accept me,
Can you please stop?
On my 23rd birthday, she gave me a birthday cake that was from her Bible study 2 days before that it had been half eaten. Like not understanding that was kind of not cool.
At what point do you completely lose touch with anything fucking hip?
I don't know. It's mostly with me. But oh my God, I kind of love that stuff though because it just flames me even more to what I think makes me what I do.
What do you mean? knowing she gets embarrassed?
Yeah, just having those mom
it's not
issues.
Like you talk to your
having
mom
those mom issues
talk
when
about
I'm
your mom on
younger.
stage. Yeah.
But it still drives me. It still turns me into what I am. Like this, trying to get her acceptance and never fully having it.
Is that what you think you do with your stand-up? Like you trying to make jokes that your mom would finally laugh at?
No. But when I do things, I want her to enjoy it, and not because she gets it or is her thing, but just because I'm doing it and doing it well.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And a couple other people.
And has she finally said, like, you're okay?
Yeah. It's not that bad. But I also was quoted in the New York Times, but they quoted my masturbation joke.
My mom wants
the same damn joke has gotten her twice. It was like,
really?
It's like your son's seriously on the cover of the art section of the New York Times, and you can't quote. You're
can't be like,
embarrassed.
Mom, see, nobody cares. It's in the New York Times.
Yeah, it's
like,
made
okay.
It's acceptable. That's like broad.
Yeah, it's okay. My mom said this once. She goes, I wish you wouldn't do that type of stuff. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, those things you do, your comedy. And I was like, I don't know what you mean.
No, Mom, what?
And I couldn't tell if she meant like sex stories or like cursing. I don't know, or anti-religious. I don't know what she meant.
Is
she was like the way you
is she
pull
very
your stuff out?
Very religious?
No, but she has been for a while.
Yeah.
For like a long time. I think she became religious when my dad was. And she was like, all right, I guess I'll do that with you.
Both your parents Jewish?
Yeah. Yeah, of course.
They're still married?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Mine are too. Both my parents married.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said they weren't. Oh, you were talking about your mom as a teenager.
When she was younger, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Two guys with two married parents, two separate directions. Monogamy.
Yeah.
And non-monogamy.
Do you think if you hadn't gotten back with Valerie?
Suzanne,
that you would have gone on a tear?
Yeah, there was something that happened in the end that led me to believe that things were starting to change a little bit, because I did this open mic just actually kind of close to where you live. Used to be across from Miyagi's. Remember when
Dublin's?
Jay had that? Where Dublin? It was like a sports bar or something. It was not Dublin's anymore. And there was an open mic, and they didn't have a mic stand, and I had my guitar, and I couldn't do it without my guitar back then. So I went and found an audience member. I picked the best looking girl in the room. This black girl she had a mohawk. It was amazing. And I asked her if she could like hold the mic for me. So I pulled up another chair. So she sat there and was a mic stand while I told my jokes. And I directed a lot of them at her and like flirted with her a lot on stage and even kissed her at one point on stage, like on the cheek.
Yeah.
And then left. Never got her information, nothing. The next night at the Improv, she's at my show. And that same night, this girl who I had dated for maybe 2 weeks shows up at my show, gets dropped off.
What?
And so these two girls just like collide into one room. And I'm like, oh, but I don't have. So this girl, like the Mohawk that from the show, I get her information. I'm like, listen, I got to get my friend a ride home. I'm sorry. Take this girl home. Have a great time with her. Hook up around 2 a.m. Leave. That other girl texts me. She's like, hey, did you drop your friend off? Yeah. Didn't work. Yeah, I dropped her off. Then come over. And went right over and had a great time. And around 5 a.m., got in my car and drove back. And I pulled up to Fairfax and Wilshire.
Okay.
And a yellow Mercedes pulled up next to me. And I look over and look in, and it's fucking Godfrey. And he's got this big girl in the front seat.
Yeah.
And I just think about my night and what I had that night. And I know him. He and women are just like, he's not a womanizer, but he just loves women, and women love him. And he's had girlfriends and, whatever. He just loves women.
He likes to get down.
But I just remember thinking, like, I think I beat him tonight.
That is something. If you look at Godfrey,
I think I beat Godfrey tonight.
That's a major milestone.
And that was unlike any other night ever in my life.
Wow.
But I thought maybe that could start happening on a more regular basis.
Yeah.
But I've never been that type of person, and I also couldn't be that type of person because I was brought up religiously to where these morals they're ingrained into me where I can't get rid of them. I don't want to even.
But what do you mean? But you were doing this stuff. So what do you mean you said you can't get rid of them?
But there was guilt involved. And
you felt bad the next day? Or the day after, the week after?
Yes. When the girl liked me, because one of those girls really did like me, and I kind of led her on, and so those things would bring me a lot of guilt, and make me feel bad because I was trying to live this life of because I'd never done that before.
How about the Brazilian girl?
Yeah, but she wanted it to be that way.
Yeah, so that's okay, right?
Yes, that's
okay.
Oh, of course. But then dating somebody for a couple weeks, and then she reaches out. You think that it's this thing, and not that I didn't like her more than that, because I did, but I wasn't ready for anything. And then they reach out to grab your hand, and you're like, oh, I don't want to, and you do, but at the same time, you just don't want to you realize at that point that they're in it for other reasons now.
Tripoli once was having sex. He's kind of like I think he told us once, but he was doing it with somebody a long time ago on behind a stairwell at one of those places in like Huntington Beach. And he thought he was in private, but it turns out he just walked around a stairwell to another like open area. So like a bunch of people just saw him boning.
Well, who was it?
There's some chick he met at the bar.
Oh, at the show. Oh.
Yeah, at the show. Just like where everyone could see. Like he walked like behind there and like faced the wall.
I never did
and
anything
didn't realize
like that.
anyone could. But then he said on the way back to the bar, like afterwards, she went to hold his hand and he was like pulled it away. Like, easy, take it easy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's very intense.
Yeah, where it's like, this is what it is. Let's
Good
not
for him.
fucking make this something different.
That's funny. Yeah, that night was a really fun night.
Yeah.
But the girl that I drove home, that wasn't bad. But the other girl was kind of into me. And then turns out that girl had dated an NBA player before me, right before me.
Oh.
Before that, she kept mentioning her boyfriend Chris for a while.
Yeah.
I was like, Chris, okay. And I had this joke at the time where I would say, Ludacris is such a great French braider. And that's all I would say. And that's back when he had like those cornrows, and it would get a good response. And she loved that joke. And I realized eventually she was actually talking about Ludacris. She dated Ludacris for a while.
Oh, wow.
She brought him to my show, and now they're like, cool. And maybe it was like, tell that joke. Maybe I better tell that joke. So I told the Ludacris joke. He didn't think it was funny at all.
He probably already heard it.
Yeah, I'm sure she set it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, all my friends are like, it's empty just fucking, or not being in a monogamous relationship. But it's like, I always think there's like pros and cons to both, right?
There's got to be. And the grass is always also, greener in the sense where, I mean, that also sounds like guys that are just like, I'm jealous and I just don't want to think of it more than just that. But there's very fun experiences that you're open to not being monogamous. Like, and it's like that girl that came up and played the microphone for me on the show. Like that, I'm not open to that right now.
Yeah.
So and I'm also not looking for that. But
that would be fun. That'd be interesting for a week or something.
You know, it's interesting how audience reacts to a wedding ring. My first year of marriage, I didn't wear my wedding ring on stage because I had this stupid philosophy of, I don't want people to know anything about who I really am. I just want people to think this is a blank slate, and then everything I say, like, this is definite information about my life.
Yeah.
So when I eventually wore it, because I realized that my wife deserves to have me wear that in public like that.
Okay. It's like, because when you don't, then it becomes a sign of like, what are you doing?
Well, and she understood why I wasn't. But I thought it was more important to give her me wearing it than for me to have that persona on stage.
Sure, okay.
So anyway, I wore it the first night I was offered a threesome right off stage. The first night I wore the wedding ring. And I honestly thought that was going to happen every night. It didn't happen every night. But I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, the wedding ring is just like people say.
Wow.
It like
what is
magnifies
that?
it.
So because people know
I've noticed that that's not true.
Sex?
It's not true. And here's the thing.
You just saw it as a coincidence, but
But somebody who's married and cheats, you're scum, I think.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm not saying that because I have had friends that do it, and I don't think they're scum. I'm saying that because to people, if people know, like, this is why this is my only example to how I saw this. And recently I was doing Rooster Tea Feathers, and the girl that runs it, Heather, was like, I got into the biggest argument with a comedian because I brought up your name, and I was like, that guy's a real scumbag. And he's like, what are you talking about?
About you?
Yes.
Scumbag?
And she goes, what are you talking about? And he goes, yeah, he cheats on his wife. And the guy's like, no. I know Nick well.
Yeah.
He does not. Is Moshe. He does not. He's not like that at all. He is, And they got into a half hour argument.
Going home.
Yeah. This huge argument. Huge argument until finally she realized she was talking about a different person. But what I realized when she was telling me the story, it's just like, oh man, I'm so glad that that's not me. Because if that was me, and that's how people talk about people that do that, oh, what a bummer. And the times that you're actually tempted, the times you're actually tempted, sometimes you don't think about that stuff, and you start justifying. You're like, oh, what's the tie? And
a lot of people leave relationships.
What are the consequences?
Because of a fantasy of like, maybe this will be better, and then it's like not, and then you're like, oh, why did I end the relationship over this?
Yeah, it's not. Why did I? Yeah, well, especially if you were in a good relationship.
Or even wanted to put in jeopardy, even that.
Yeah, well, you go out and it's hard. I mean, I have a friend that's single, and she's my age, and it's very tough for her, especially in Los Angeles. She hates it.
Why?
because she wants to meet a guy that with some substance, and she doesn't feel she doesn't feel like she can.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's some out there, but it's just, the process now is so difficult.
Yeah, what do you do?
I don't even know. It scares me. I was just trying to think of if I have game now. I don't.
You
want to when you act in a movie, you want to be able to turn it off and just be a single guy and have major game and just be like,
yeah. You just don't.
I don't know if I can accept.
I feel like you should have better.
I
game.
have it in there. No, I have it in there. I do. I like to think I don't. I like to play it down.
Hook up with a chick on a train from just saying hi.
Well, there was a time when I was in my prime when I was just, it was that stage likability factor where you can just perform to people and really bring them on your side and listen and
you're so likable,
not over talk and these were all things I remember very early on in dating. I learned that 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen twice as much as you talk.
Wow, keep them talking.
Let them talk, yeah. And
who cares?
And maybe it's going to gross you out after a while, and maybe you'll be so engaged you're not even thinking about that. You'll actually be enjoying talking, and they're going to be enjoying you talking. But the times when I would leave and think, oh, I just fucking talked way too much.
Yeah.
I just exposed way too much. It was like doing a podcast at dinner.
David Taylor always said that about BJ. He was always like, he just stays quiet and everybody thinks he's brilliant just by not opening his mouth.
Yeah.
He's a shy nerd.
Who?
Novak.
Oh, yeah.
Just like all those Harvard guys. They're all shy at their heart, but he just stays quiet and be like, ooh, mysterious. He's
and then
smart.
They get drunk and they're like, oh, they're just like me. They say crazy things.
Oh, all right. You got to go. Thanks, man.
Dude, thanks for having me. It was fun.
You want to say your Twitter?
I like this kind of podcast.
Yeah. Why? What do you mean?
It was just it was a fun combo, you know? Not about business or anything.
Oh, right. You want to say your Twitter address?
At Nick Thune.
And then what else? Where can people see you?
At Nick Thune. I'm going to be in Denver, August 16th through 19th.
Comedy Works?
Downtown Comedy Works.
I just taped my special, my album.
Oh, nice.
There.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks.
You taped the CD.
CD, yeah.
That's where I taped my first CD.
Yeah, it works so well. I was worried about the crowd.
Did they show you the pictures up in their office that I took with Rory Scovel?
No.
I found out that Anthony was going to be there the week after me, and I was staying in the condo with Rory. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And Rory was on the couch, and I was in the bed, and
oh yeah, that condo. Yeah.
So we got our driver, somebody from downstairs, to come up and take a picture of us. And so the first picture was us in the bed, and we just want to get a picture of me and Rory framed. So we got a picture of us in the bed with our shirts off, under covers, sitting up, drinking Coors Lights, cheersing and having a great time.
Yeah.
Got it framed at Kinko's, put it up above the bed, and I was sitting there and I'm looking at it, and I was like, no. Okay, now what we need to do is take a picture of us on the bed with beers under the picture of us on the bed and put that on the couch.
Yeah.
And so we do that, put it over the couch. Now we got these two pictures facing each other. I'm like, no, now we got a picture of us on the couch, under the picture of us on the bed,
looking at that.
Under the picture of us on the bed, looking at this couch. And so we did that and put that face.
I kept getting
them
framed and
framed. Yeah, we framed 3 pictures. We put them in different places in the room. Anthony's gonna fucking love this.
Yeah.
I left a rocking chair in the condo prior that's on the porch.
Oh yeah, it's great. That really came in handy.
Yeah, I left that there, and so they were expecting me to leave something, so I thought that was the best thing to leave. And they took it down before Anthony came. I called up Anthony. I was like, "Hey, what do you think?" And
I wasn't there.
Yeah, they put it in the office, and they said, "Yeah, we try and be respectful and professional with our condo. We love it. We think it's hilarious." And they sent me pictures of them under it. And I was like, "Just for Anthony,
leave
that's
it for 1 week."
It's a bit. I paid $50 for that. $50 of frames.
That sucks. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. And I'll be in Austin in the fall.
Did you say your Twitter address?
At Nick Thune. I'll be in Austin in the fall and Minneapolis.
All right.
Austin in December.
Go to your
Minneapolis,
website,
October.
nickthune.com.
Yeah, thanks. Sorry. We're not I'm shaking like I'm actually not going to say bye after we stop.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks, Nick Thune. Everybody follow him on Twitter, Nick Thune. Good episode. Nick's funny as shit. Thanks, man. I met him outside the Improv once, right when he came to LA from Seattle. It was him and Taylor Williamson. We're going to do a little discussion outside the Improv. And it was really cool. The guy was really nice. And Taylor Williamson was, too. Maybe I'll have him on my podcast to talk about balding. He's got hair you can see right through. But Yeah, he's always been cool. And then he really hit hard in Hollywood, like pretty early. He got like deals and got put on stuff. Made a bunch of videos online. If you haven't seen his videos, they're like cutesy. If you like cutesy comedy, songs and stuff, they're funny. But like he sings songs about lobsters. Anyway, check it out. I don't know what his maybe I'll put one on my website. I'll put one of those, the lobster song. I'll put on my website if I can find it. All right, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Go to arithegreat.com for everything. Please visit our sponsors, Amazon.com, through my website. Give me money that I will be using for drug-related paraphernalia and drugs. And somebody's calling me. And that's it. You guys are awesome. Thank you for tuning in. Your feedback. Oh, and the funny comments you're leaving on iTunes are really still making me laugh. You guys are outdoing each other. Yeah, whatever. Make some ridiculous fucking comments on my iTunes page. Ari Shaffir Skeptic Tank. Just go there, and the more ridiculous, the better. I don't have any on me right now. Maybe I should fucking look one up. I'll look one up right now. They're fucking great. They really are great. They don't have that iTunes thing. Oh, yes, they do. Here's the last one. Okay, this just happened. This podcast is better than sex with a relative, I guess. Start with a small amount. What is this? Start with a small amount of coconut water from Thailand. Add a half a cup of hemp hearts from Canada. Blend. Add small layer of kale leaves, celery, and acai drink from Brazil. Blend. Add a little more coconut water. Add a handful of goji berries from China. What is this? It's just a recipe. I've suffered from ferocious diarrhea until I heard this podcast. After I was cured, I realized this cheap, penny-pinching Jew was actually good for something.